going to do a review for a movie that has been highly touted as one of the best horror movies in the last 5-6 years, a lot of people are saying.
People say that shit all the time, though.
There's always a movie like that every once in a while where people are like, "Oh my God, you gotta see this shit."
It blew my dick away.
But I gotta say, like, a lot of times when I watch movies like that, they don't really impress me that much. But I think the Babadook is pretty damn impressive. I enjoyed it. It's a slow building movie. I didn't really even know it was an Australian movie until I started watching it, and then you can easily tell it's Australian because the bushwhackers are in it. Yeah,
that's the easiest.
Yeah, they're the stars.
Outback Jacks.
You better watch out for the Babadook, Luke.
Oh, the fucking, yeah. This is another one, though, where I think I talked to you right after I saw it.
Yep.
And we were talking about it, and there were parts of it that I didn't understand, but this is a movie that really sticks with you, because I've been thinking about it, like, ever since I watched it, which was probably 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, it's one of those movies, too, where at least for me, when I was watching it, I just got, like, an anxiety about me. Like, the whole movie's just, and I think it's because where I kind of hate kids, too, and this kid's like he's a little fucked up little motherfucker in it. And I just think the movie had, like, this sense of dread throughout the entire movie that was, like, just kind of captivating a way. I'm like, where's this going? This is just so weird.
Yeah. Well, one of the best things that they did in this movie is that they made the kid really fucking annoying.
Right.
That was a good move for a lot of different reasons in this movie, because most of the time what you would do in a movie like that, where you have like an evil presence kind of thing and it's taking over the family, is you'd have the kid being a really sympathetic character that was, being really sugary, sweet, sympathetic character that didn't have any problems, and they were kind of being taken advantage of by this evil force. They didn't do that in this movie, which you almost wanted to see the kid die in the beginning of it and everything. You knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, there was a scene or two in there where you thought he was going to die.
Yeah, but he was just so, and that's what made it more real too, is like, that's kind of how kids are. They're real fucking just aggravating and selfish a lot of times too. It's just they're not the way the movies portray them either, and especially in a movie where you're trying to make the kid a victim, and they always do that thing where they make them really sweet and loving and all that, and it's just, now this kid in this had some serious issues.
Yeah, it's definitely the movie's about this mother that is a single parent. Her I guess the son's father passed away while she was in labor with him or whatever.
Right.
The son, of course, like a lot of kids, I don't know, hello?
No, sorry. I had to sneeze.
You sound like you stuck it up your butt or something. Like, oh, shit. The son has a lot of behavioral issues, like you were saying, and, has kind of got this obsession with wanting to kill the monsters, and has like weapons that he makes that he takes to school and gets him in trouble and gets him, kicked out of school almost or something like that. And then, I think the mother, I don't know, did they say where they come across this pop-up book?
They didn't come across it. It just showed up. Like, I remember that scene.
Yeah.
Where he just wanted to read that book. It had shown up in the house, I think. Okay.
So, yeah, they just happened to find the book in the house, and she starts to read it. It's kind of like it's just a pop-up book with some weird, just, I don't know, rhymes and just evil, about the Mr. Babadook or whatever. And the book itself, too, it reminded me a little bit of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the artwork that was in it and stuff, because it was just really off. It's kind of creepy. Just the book itself was creepy looking. I know Scream Factory or somebody did a special edition Blu-ray that looks like the book, but I don't know if they made like pop-up pages or anything like that. If they did, that was smart. They should have done that. That should have been a special edition. But she starts reading the book to the kid, and he really starts freaking out. And because he's already like scared of monsters under his bed and all this shit anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, then pretty much things just start to unravel and go from bad to worse with, I was trying to figure out, and I guess you could, it's one of those movies you could take it a different way. Like, I was thinking that this woman was just going completely crazy, is what I was thinking.
I thought that would have been something that they would have done, because that's kind of a cliche thing to do now, where you're like, you never know if it's actually happening or if it's in their mind or whatever like that. There's a couple of movies that have done that recently too. But something you mentioned about the look of the comic book, something else they did in this movie that I thought was a really, really good idea that kind of made it even more, even creepier, and kind of made it stand out more than from the other ones, like these possession kind of movies and stuff, is they designed the house a lot like the book. Like it was gray. Did you notice that? Like the way the house looked.
I didn't notice that.
A lot of whites and a lot of grays and really dull, and it looked like the scenery in the book, it almost looked like a set to a 40s movie or something that you would see. The way they designed the house and everything like that too, which I think made it even more kind of unsettling. The other really good thing they did was, and my favorite part of the movie actually, is all the sequences where she's watching television and there's these weird, like, commercials or movies that blend in with the reality of what's going on around them. Mm-hmm. And there's just these weird scenes where it's kind of like you can see her slipping into insanity through those scenes and everything.
I really enjoyed I guess it was the voice of the Babadook too. Like, I thought that was creepy as shit. Like, whoever come up with that, like a Babadook, like a creature almost in a way. And I was like, oh, that's freaky. And not too many movies can do that where, like, it's not like it scared me or anything, but parts of it was freaky. I mean, it kind of freaked you out a little bit. And I thought that, looking at this on Wikipedia, it's got a budget of $2 million, which is nothing really for a movie nowadays. I mean, that's a very small amount of money. And it's one of those, what you don't see makes it scarier. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see in the shadows.
That was really smart. They did that too. They only showed the actual creature maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
That I can remember, where you fully see it.
Yeah, and even then it was kind of in the shadows. I mean, you didn't see any real detail in it. But you know what, man? Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. And it's one that I think I'm going to watch again at some point. I mean, I watched it debuted on Netflix and DVD, I think the same day. So if anybody wants to see it, you can watch it on Netflix right now.
I liked it enough to where I went back and did some research on it, and I had to go back and watch it again because I knew there was something going on with this movie. It's one of those movies where there's like an underlying something about the movie that's there, but you may not exactly be getting or anything because there's too much symbolism and stuff in it too. So I went back and did some research on it, and the movie itself, the guys that were, I guess, the director and the writer were talking about, the movie itself is actually kind of a metaphor for death. That's what the whole movie is actually about. And because I could never understand the end of the fucking movie until I read that. And if you read that, then you can kind of understand it, because it's not to give away the end of the movie or anything, but the end of the movie really doesn't make that much sense to me anyway. But it's about the idea, and when you see the end of the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about, I guess, if you haven't seen it. It's about the idea of grief. Like, if you deny grief and act like it's not there and don't, get it out somehow or another, then it just keeps coming back over and over and over again. But if you go and visit it, if you go and you experience it, so to speak, and you kind of face it, you don't have to face it all the time, but you have to at least face it every now and then it doesn't have power over you anymore.
Yeah.
Which, when you see the movie, you'll understand what that kind of translates.
Yeah, it does kind of make sense. I mean, it's definitely, like I was saying, I think a lot, like if you had 5 different people, they'd probably interpret the movie 5 different ways.
Right.
You know, it's one of those movies. But it's something like, it's not the typical, you know, scary movie. There's definitely, like you were saying, something more to it. Very psychological, horror, I think, more than anything else. And, you know, I enjoyed it. I really did. I was surprised because a lot of people liked it, but there was a lot of people that said, it's just real slow. I didn't really, you know, I was posting stuff about it on Facebook, and I made sure not to really talk about it that much on Facebook because I wanted people to hear the review on here first. But I really, I thought it was a well done movie, and, it's actually based on a short film that, the director Jennifer Kent did in 2005, just simply called Monster. And I've never really heard of, let me look on her. I don't know if she'd done any other feature films before that. I don't think so. Let's see. I don't believe so. But, I think that, we'll definitely have to keep our eye out for her because she's also an actress as well as a writer and a director. So, that's
well, yeah, and I was thinking, though, I'm not going to say like it's the best movie since whatever, you know, since sliced bread or anything, but it's a good movie. Ain't no fucking doubt about that. I mean, it's a well-made movie, and it's a movie that's like, there's more to it than meets the eye, especially.
Yeah. It's like Transformers.
Oh, God. That is the line Transformers in it.
A special thank you goes out to our supporters on Patreon. The Patreon website has a complete archive of the Dead Pit Radio shows starting way back in 2005, in addition to all of the midweek shows archived, commentaries, all that good stuff. If you're interested, and we appreciate all the support, go to www.patreon.com/Into the Dead Pit. Tiers start as low as $1